What is up? My name is Katie, and today I'm going to be talking about how we got our Greyhound Smaug. He's the cutest little guy, so if you want to see more pictures of him, and if you want to hear about how we got him, and like a little bit more about greyhounds in general, then keep watching and leave a like, comment, subscribe if you liked this. Any of that is highly appreciated, and let's get into it. When I was younger, we had this little mutt named Meggie, and she was named after the character in Inkheart, but unfortunately, in the summer between my sophomore and junior year of high school, she passed away. And we decided we absolutely could not keep going without another dog. And my dad had gotten pretty into running at that point, so he decided that he wanted a dog who he could run with. And he kind of narrowed it down to between a golden retriever and a greyhound. And at first I was like, I totally want a golden retriever, because when I was younger I had really, really wanted a golden retriever and we hadn't gotten one. But the more and more that I looked at the personalities of the two breeds and like just looked at pictures of them, the more I absolutely fell in love with greyhounds. And I think my dad had like ended up feeling the same way. My mom and little brother, they kind of wanted a smaller dog, and we ended up getting a pug about a year later, whose name is George. So here's a picture of George, just because he's adorable. um, but so we decided to adopt a greyhound through Northern Lights Greyhound Adoption. I think that's right. If it's a different thing, I'll put it on the screen. But they were a really great place to adopt through. And we went to this greyhound picnic, and when we first entered, there was this greyhound who was like really cute. She like drooled a little bit, but I sat there and petted her for a few minutes, and then we kept walking around, and we saw more people who owned greyhounds and or were like foster families for greyhounds, kind of like transition families between the racetrack and the new home. They'd basically kind of just teach them like how to be house trained, and almost kind of like how to be, not how to be like a dog, but how to be a dog who hasn't gone through being in the racing industry, which is not a wonderful industry. So and there we met a whole bunch of other greyhounds who were up for adoption, and there was this one greyhound named Ivanka, and like she was so cute. And she was just like a really sweet dog, which I think almost all greyhounds are just really sweet. And we decided that we wanted her. She was about 5 years old. She was very food motivated, and she was, like I said, she was also just really cute and really sweet. Our greyhound that we have right now, spoiler alert, it's not Ivanka, but he wasn't there at the picnic. So a couple weeks later, we went to the vet's office to get Ivanka, and they were like, hey, if you don't want this dog, you can totally have Ivanka, but we just want you to meet this dog first. And we were like, okay. So then they brought in Frodo, and Frodo was about 2 years old. He was kind of a bigger dog, and he hadn't ever raced because he's a little bit claustrophobic, so he was like scared of the starting box that you go into, so he wouldn't go into it. I think he would have been a really fast racer. Ivanka had raced, and that's why she was so old, and she was 5. She had, like, her racing career had ended, and Frodo had never like had a racing career in the first place. But he was really, really shy at first, and so my dad and I, we kind of kept our distance a little bit, just so that he could be in the room with us and start to feel like just a little bit more comfortable with us. And so like I waited until he came over to me, and then I was very, gentle, and like held out my hand and petted him a little bit. And we decided that we totally wanted Frodo, but his name totally wasn't going to be Frodo. And I love dragons, as you can tell by my awesome dragon tattoo. Um, and so I was like, we should name him Smaug. Because not only did I love dragons, even more than I love dragons now, but he kind of looked like a dragon at that point. Like, greyhounds look a little bit like dragons, which is pretty awesome. And he was already named Frodo, so another name from The Hobbit just like came to mind, and it was Smaug. And so we decided to name him Smaug, and we like went through the necessary stuff, and so then we were able to take him home, and he was so happy. And he always like drooled a little bit in the car, but he was drooling so much. I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think greyhounds and maybe other dogs too just tend to like drool when they get really happy. Um, but he hadn't been to a foster family. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he hadn't been to a foster family. So he wasn't really house trained, and he like didn't know how to get up on the couch or anything. So we had to teach him how to like ask to go outside, and we also had to teach him how to go up and down the stairs, which they said that we were probably not ever going to be able to get him to go up and down the stairs. But we needed him to go up and down the stairs in order to get down into our backyard, and then to get back up to our house, there's like a set of stairs. So we needed him to be able to go up and down the stairs. So we put some treats on the steps, and then we put a leash on him, and we like gently guided him down, like very slowly, and then also back up until he felt more comfortable going up and down stairs. And we also kind of like taught him how to get up on the couch, which, rip the couch. It's gone now. It's dead. So that kind of sucks because I liked the couch, but it was getting a little bit ratty. But we still had the couch at that point, so we had like taught him how to get up on the couch and get up on the bed. And they told us to keep him in a crate at first, like whenever we left or whenever it was overnight, because he would feel more comfortable in the crate. So we did keep him in the crate for a period of time, but we didn't really like keeping him in the crate. So at some point we were like, you know what? Like, let's just try having him be able to roam about. And he kind of got into trouble when he was roaming around the house. So the thing that we ended up doing is that overnight, and when we left, we'd put a baby gate up in the door of my room, because Smaug slept in my room. And so he would be able to like get up on my bed and sleep there, or, you know, he could go into the crate. And at some point we were just like, he's not really using the crate. So we kind of like took it away. And now to give him, you know, a little bit of variety, when we leave the house and it's during the day, we put the baby gate up in the door to our parents' bedroom. And then when it's overnight, he sleeps in my bed. And I ended up having to get a full-size bed instead of my twin-size bed, because a 70-pound greyhound, very leggy greyhound, mind you, and me, that I'm 5'7", like that just wasn't working. So like in a twin bed. So I ended up getting a full-size bed, which is a lot nicer, although sometimes he still pushes me off the bed a little bit. But the baby gate, it's super easy for him to knock down. Like, if he wanted to, he could totally get out, but he doesn't. So I think that there's like somewhat of a grain of truth to what they said about keeping him in the crate, because he would feel more comfortable, because he was kept in a crate like throughout like most of his days at the greyhound racing place. like that was kind of his little home area. And then, you know, he had the places where he would go run and be like with the other puppies and like go train. Um, so I think that he does feel more comfortable when he's in like more of an enclosed space. Um, but it's really nice that he doesn't try to knock the baby gate down, because that would mean that we would have to get like either keep him in the crate or just get a much sturdier baby gate. And we kind of have to use the sturdier baby gate for the pug, because let me tell you, George does try to knock it down. And if we were to put the like easy to move baby gate that we put up in where Smaug is staying in with George, he would knock that sucker down in a second. So we had decided to do baby gates, and it just worked better that way. And greyhounds also only have one coat of fur. So since greyhounds only have one coat, they kind of need like an extra coat for during the winter, which we actually at this point, we've had him for, I want to say like 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And we don't end up putting the coat on him anymore because he doesn't really like it, and he doesn't go outside for long periods of time. And, you know, he just knows to come back to the patio door and bark when he wants to get back in. And especially when it's cold, he'll bark more and he'll like be moving his feet. But at first we did have coats, and I have some pretty cute pictures of him in coats. I also have a picture of him in one of my sweatshirts, because I decided that's going to keep him warm. So, yeah. And we got him, we like took him to PetSmart or like a pet store, and we kind of like took out toys for him to play with, but he didn't really like to play with toys because he was like, what are these? So, but there was this one toy, this one little alligator that he like took a liking to more than the other toys. So we ended up getting that one for him. At this point, like in time, you know, fast forward 4 years, and George has taught him how to play with toys, because we got George when he was just like, he was a little baby puppy. And so he like totally knew how to play with toys, and he's kind of taught Smaug how to play with toys. So Smaug will like, we have like a gazillion toys in our house at this point, but he'll take like other toys, and they have like Squeaky, and he'll like throw them up in the air and then catch them and run around with them and be squeaking them. But at first with his, with this little alligator that he got, and we called it his baby, and basically what he would do is he'd either like lay down with it, or he'd just like pick it up very gently and kind of like carry it around the house. He's so adorable. And he still to this day loves resting by the fireplace, which makes total sense because everybody likes being by the fireplace. And then he also loves resting his head on everything and also on you. Yeah. But that's basically the story of how we got our Greyhound, and I'm so happy that we did. If you're interested in getting a Greyhound, I highly, highly suggest getting a Greyhound, because they are the sweetest things, as long as you have enough room for them, and enough room for them to run around. We don't have a ginormous backyard, but he'll still run big looping circles around our backyard. We call them zoomies. But if you're interested in getting a Greyhound, I highly recommend getting one. And you could ask me about like getting a Greyhound, and I could tell you some more stuff about our Greyhound. But yeah. If you liked this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time.